Janice Masters, the Shaman Mama from janicemasters.com, and I'm going live today to talk about how to navigate the current energies more comfortably. And I'm actually going to broadcast today from the swing in my front yard because it's a nice breezy day. It's sunny, and this is where I'll be sitting. I love this spot. And so yeah, it's according to the weather report, it's 91 degrees. Hi, Yvonne and Laura and Palma, Linda. Hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, it's 91 degrees out, but there's a very nice breeze, and the mosquito report is extreme. However, I think the breeze is going to keep the mosquitoes away. So, what I really want to talk about today is how to navigate these current wonky energies more comfortably. I'm going to see if I can... Nah, I need my glasses on to see what you guys are saying. Anyway, you know, we've got eclipses. We've got a full moon on Monday and a lunar eclipse. We've got the Lion's Gate, which I honestly don't know much about. I mean, I know what the eclipses are, obviously, but I'm not a big astrologer. I really don't know the deeper meaning, so that's why I read and share some of what people much more knowledgeable than I are saying about these things. And then we've got this mega solar eclipse on the 21st of this month. So it seems like the whole month, at least the whole month, is going to be wonky. So I know that people are experiencing all kinds of challenges right now. I know people... Hey, Stacy, thank you for being here. Oh, good, Ellen, thank you too. Yeah, I know people on this broadcast right now are experiencing tremendously challenging things with loved ones, with illnesses, with conflicts, with financial difficulties, with all kinds of things that run the gamut from annoying glitches to really serious situations. Yep, challenges for sure, says Ellen. Absolutely. And so, and I, frankly, I've been experiencing these things too. Touch on smudging. That's a great suggestion, Palma. I will. I want to give some tips. And look, and I'm not an expert by any means. I mean, I know a lot more than... Linda says all of the above. God bless you, girl. I know more than I did 40 years ago or 30 years ago or 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, because I've been challenged, I've been slammed, as we all have, and hopefully because we're on a conscious path of spiritual evolution, we're learning as we're going. So some of the basic tips I have to share. Harriet, thank you so much for being here. It's really important to know how to center and ground yourself, and how to, throughout the day, remain centered and grounded, because one of the things that's true about these energies is that they're very unbalancing. It's kind of like if you're riding a bicycle and you hit an unexpected bump, you could either wobble or you could go flying off the handlebars. Hey, Jerry, thank you so much for being here. How nice to see you. So grounding and centering are extremely important. The other thing that I'm finding really important, and this has to do with relationships, is, and this goes back to some of my dad's advice for us when we were growing up, is that when you're triggered in a relationship by something that happens, somebody says something, you feel hurt, you feel angry, don't shoot from the hip. Give yourself a cooling off period. It could be 5 minutes. It could be a week. But give yourself and your friend or loved one the respect and the gentle compassion of giving things a minute to settle down. My husband and I just cleared some crap that was between us for a while. We were being so edgy with each other. And, you know, we've been together for 34 years. We are soulmates. We adore each other. And we recognize when things get weird. And usually it doesn't take a whole lot of conversation. It takes acknowledgement of the fact that we're both uncomfortable and unhappy with the way things are for us to let it go, because that's where the choice happens. We choose to let it go, choose to let the conflict go. Sometimes conflicts have to be hammered out, absolutely, but sometimes it's just, I've been annoyed and that's building, and you've been annoyed and that's building, and we're just going to let it go because we really like being light and happy and sweet with each other. I had a glitchy thing happen with a dear friend. We really haven't had a conflict before, and we know each other pretty intimately. And my feelings were hurt. She didn't understand why. And so I gave it a cooling off period, and we've begun to message back and forth, and we'll probably talk in the next couple of days. And as I said to her, it's not a deal breaker. It's a glitch. And I'm going to attribute a bunch of this to the energies right now, because there is so much crap being shook loose within our psyches that we're ready to let go of, so that we can be more who we came here to be, so that we can be freer, so that we can really directly experience the concept that I've been playing with and working with myself and with my clients, which is the concept of exoneration. We are all totally exonerated, and that's very different. Sanjita, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate that. Exoneration is quite different from forgiveness. Forgiveness implies that something wrong has been done and another person has granted us absolution, to use a religious term. Exoneration is quite different from that, and this is a concept that was really given to me, inspired to me, Mother's Day morning this year. Exoneration means a return to innocence, a return to freedom. It's a legalistic term, and I think that's why it carries such weight when we use it and when we really allow ourselves to experience it. Exoneration means charges dismissed. You're innocent. Nothing to go to jail about here, nothing to be punished. And the other phrase that came, and this was like flashing on a neon billboard, exoneration. And the other piece that came along with it was time served counts. So however we've made ourselves suffer with guilt, with shame, with regret, with responsibility, this is the part where we get to let it go and we get to ease ourselves into freedom and into compassion. Michelle, thank you for being here. Maria, thank you also for being here. So exciting. I appreciate all of you for taking the time. So there's all this crap being shook loose in our psyches by these energies. And I know, because we've had conversations on Facebook, and I've had personal conversations about, we can wake up feeling different every morning. You can wake up feeling fine and dandy one morning, or, as my friend Susan said, she woke up in the middle of the night with feeling like she had prickly things in her solar plexus and her arms and her legs. So she knew what to do. She knew how to clear her chakra, and she knew to drink something soothing, and she went back to sleep and felt better. For me, I could wake up in the morning with prickliness in my solar plexus and my arms and my hands, or I could wake up perfectly calm. So I've gotten to the point where I know it's kind of silly, funny to say it's not personal, but it's really not personal often. It may be about my personal stuff being shook loose and coming up to the surface. And what happens is, as it rises up to be released, it will hit the next place in our physical bodies where we're holding, where we're not letting things flow. So for me, a while ago it was my knee. Then a shorter while ago it was my psoas muscle. And now more recently it's my solar plexus. So each of us may have kind of an idiosyncratic place where we hold more tension. So being aware of that. So we're talking grounded and centered. We're talking exoneration, for the ultimate in allowing ourselves to know our innocence and our freedom. And we're also talking about knowing our way around our physical apparatus, our bodies, so that when we're dealing with energies that create discomfort or dis-ease, we know how to be in a process to move that stuff through. I use a process with myself and with my clients where we actually dialogue with the body part to find out, okay, what's the issue that's coming up? Why is it getting stuck here? What can I do to help it be relieved? And it's always about bringing love and bringing compassion to that part of ourselves that feels vulnerable and feels and is in pain. Tricia, hi, thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate it. So those are just a few of the things that we can look at during this time of, well, kind of crazy energy. There's really no other way to say it. I mean, you can read. I posted a bunch of things posted something this morning that was really good about the solar eclipse and the astrological meanings, which is really, really incredibly interesting. So there's plenty of information out there to read about this, but mainly this all comes back to sacred self-care and really having to up the ante with the sacred self-care these days, because in order to navigate these energies more comfortably, we got to be on top of it. You know, it's like you don't want your teeth to fall out of your head, then you brush your teeth every day. That's dental hygiene. There is spiritual, energetic hygiene that we need to do ongoingly, and that I teach about. Palma had asked me to mention smudging. It's a great idea. You can smudge with sage. There's a Sicilian custom of smudging with bay leaves, which is also very cleansing and clearing. So if you're feeling like within your family or in your office or just within your own self, things are getting kind of backed up and yucky, and it's time to do an energetic house cleaning, saging, smudging is a really good thing to do. The other thing I like to do when I smudge is to use my Tibetan bowl and ring it all around the room and up in the four corners. And I also have a little, it's actually a baby rattle, a sterling silver baby rattle that's an angel chime. And so I use that too. So yeah, Ellen, they are nice, aren't they? The chimes in the background. They ring more when I say something about letting go or the eclipse. Well, that's cool. Stacy said she'll need a forest worth of smudging for her office. Yeah, that's true. So I do use sage. I use white sage, and sometimes I use bay leaves, and I use my Tibetan bowl, and I use my angel chimes, and then I'll light a candle and leave it burning for a while. So you want to make sure that all that energy is really moved out. You know, after we experienced Hurricane Andrew and had to be out of our house for construction for 8 months, when we moved back in, I said to Dwight, we need to smudge this place first. We've had all kind of workers in here and, you know, all this destruction and everything. So what we did that time was we took branches from our trees and our bushes, the natives around the yard, and we used those to smudge both the outside and the inside of the house. So, anybody have questions about how... Hi, Diane, thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate you being here, especially on a Saturday. Anybody have any questions about what we're talking about, you know, how strong these energies are? Let's not forget, I'm gonna, you know, take a gigantic leap here, and say that everybody on this broadcast is highly sensitive and empathic. And so, yeah, we're going to be reacting and responding more than the average bear to these energies. There are some people who... Hello, Kim. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. There are some people who are kind of oblivious, although they may be experiencing things in their lives that they can't explain, and it feels like a lot is coming down heavy on them right now. The gift in our consciousness is that we have a context right now for why things are more glitchy than usual, more challenging than usual, more weirder. How do I hold your grounding? How do I hold my grounding? Well, let me put it this way. I ground myself, and then I notice when I have become ungrounded. I mean, sometimes it's quite literal. I will trip, or I'll bump into something. Or here's the other one that to look for. When your energy is what I call from the eyebrows up, which means you're in your head, you're thinking, obsessing, ruminating, That's very ungrounded. Charmin, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. So, the best way to hold your grounding is to be present and aware and notice when you become ungrounded. It's not like we can tether and tie a knot in it, and say, okay, I'm good for the month. It's a process that we have to keep doing over and over again. I have a desire to let you see a little bit of, just a little bit of how pretty it is. Okay. Hi. So those are just some of the things that we can pay attention to, that we can also assist others with. Peggy, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. We've talked about a lot of the reasons why. Nora, hi, I know you love this place. Hey, Ken, thank you so much. It's actually so nice to be outside. I think I may do more of my lives outside. It's so pleasant and so pretty. So, any questions about the energies, the effects on us, the what to do, how to help loved ones? I'm going to talk about that for a second, how to help loved ones, because, the woo-woo is not something we can force down anybody's throat. In fact, I said to someone this morning, you probably think it's a woo-woo, but, there are these eclipses and there's all these retrogrades. And the person said to me, well, I'm not so sure it's so woo. I think it could be affecting us because these are all really strong energies. So, we'll encounter people who will run the gamut from, that's nonsense, to, yeah, of course, I'm in. I agree. Yes, I talk about that, how the eclipse is going to affect us. Look, both the eclipses are about shadow. And as many of you know, I do a lot of shadow work with myself and with clients and students. So if you want to look at how the eclipse is going to affect us, ask yourself what part of your shadow is coming forth right now. What's going on in your life? What's going on in your relationships? I can tell you what's going on in my house. It's really strange. You talk about shadow. So we've got 3 little roof leaks that need to be taken care of. And we've got, as of discovery yesterday, we have a hot water line leak that was discovered. My massage therapist came to the house, and when she was finished with my massage, she walked into the bathroom that's off of my office. She came back out and she said, Jan, do you guys have your tile floors heated? And I said, Roseanne, come on. This is South Florida. Why would we heat our tile floors? She said, well, Amy, hi. Thank you for being here. She said, well, your floor is really hot in the bathroom. So after she left, I went in there, and sure enough, the floor was hot. Came out and walked around to the kitchen. Tile floor was hot. Called a plumber who's coming on Monday, because otherwise weekends are time and a half. And I did a little Google search, of course, and I discovered that probably it's a hot water line that's broken. And then our neighbor came over, who's an architect engineer, and he said, yeah, that's what it is. Here's what you're going to have to do. So, okay, so let's look at the shadow of leaks, energy leaking. This is about grounding. This is about centering. This is about, Mara, thank you for being here. Hi. This is about shielding. This is about knowing your sacred sovereign space and how to protect it. So we've got some metaphorical information, wisdom coming through for us in our home about the leaks. So we'll take a look at that personally and see, what other things we may need to do. So I'm going to close in a minute because I had promised myself that since I'm doing a Facebook Live every single day in the month of August, I would keep them to 10 to 15 minutes. I'll be doing one again tomorrow. I'll probably do it from outside again because it's awfully nice out here. Alexa, I'm so glad you stopped in. Thank you very much. So are there any questions before I close? Any questions about the energies, about how to cope, how to manage, how to be more comfortable, how to support our loved ones? Okay. Well, I am going to close, and hopefully I'll see you again here tomorrow. And we may continue this discussion or go on to something else. This is Janice Masters, the Shaman Mama from janicemasters.com. Thank you very much for being here. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.